Hi and welcome to this week's project. This is a slightly different place to start my video. I'm also using my camera to film this because it picks up some of the images a little bit better than my GoPro does. As you can see in front, these are the rings that I haven't really shown you an awful lot about. These are the ones that I made for the gallery. And I thought just before, this is a mix of some that are currently selling and some that are going to the gallery, but I thought before I put all these rings off, I'd like you to have a look at them. And then I was thinking of showing you maybe how I make some of the effects that's on here. Some of these rings in here, not all of them, but some of these rings are, they do have fluorescent resins in, which if they're in extreme sunlight, enhances the colours that's inside them. So the likes of this one here is fluorescent, as this one here. These ones has fluorescent in them as well. These two don't. These are just, this is a broken wood. Let me see if I can take this one off. This one here is just broken wood with a slight blue resin in it. But anyway, I'm going to show you how the fluorescent colouring looks. Let me get this on. And then I think we're going to go and I'm going to make some, show you how I make them and how I colour them. I'm not going to show you how I cut and shape them because I've done all of that before. But I'm going to show you how I get some of these colours in them and what I do to get certain effects. But first of all, the UV light affects these rings. You'll be able to see them slightly glow from here. Now I'm going to dim the light and you'll get to see them a little bit brighter. It'll take a minute for the light to adjust on the camera. I went back actually and redone these because it seemed to be struggling to get a good focus on it with the darkness, so I've tried to go with a little bit more light just so that you can see. Hoping the camera will pick that up a little bit better this time. So yeah, what we're going to do is I'm going to go out and we'll go into the shed and that, and I'm going to show you how these are made and how I get it to glow in the dark and just get these different effects from it. And I hope you'll enjoy just to see something a little bit different. I felt it was about time I showed you this now in a little bit more detail. Okay, so I've already snapped these. I was going to show it on video, but I think it's a bit too dangerous. I do it in a vise. And I actually put in the vise, I put two bits of wood that side, one bit this side. I put the wood in the middle and I clamp it until it snaps it. This is the best way I've found for doing it. I don't tend to get splits down the wood. It tends to snap it a bit cleaner. So I've prepared a load of different bits and I'm going to show you a couple of different ways of doing what I do. The first part that I always have to do is the painting. It's acrylic paints that I use, and I'm going to go through and paint different ones. Okay, got a piece of perspex with plastic on top of it, so that'll do me for what I need. The first ones I'm going to start with is just some plain black. I quite like the look of black, and then if you add a clear resin to it, it gives a nice effect on the inside. So basically there's nothing fancy in this at all. I just try and make sure that I get all on the inside. I don't like to go too near the edges when you're painting this, because there's going to be some sanding to the wood. Sorry, you're probably hearing that, it's very windy outside today. Yeah, so I just make sure that I get some black in it. Every bit doesn't need to be covered, you know, don't be too fussy about it, but just really make sure that you've got enough of it that you see it. Kept it nicely off the edges. Of course, you're never sure at this point where the hole for the sizing of the ring and that's going to go. I usually leave all of that right until the end, and then I decide at that point. So that's one, just simply done like that. I'm going to do a couple more black ones and I shall speed those up for you. Okay, right, we're going to go back and we are going to do, first of all, a layer of blue. I'm going to use light blue. I'll put those out the way there. I'm going to put a layer of light blue. These are going to be layered on different colours. Now, as you can see, it's quite a bright blue. This is the colouring is this colouring's my favourite colouring once it's all completed. I don't need to worry about getting everything in at the bottom painted, because there's going to be several layers to this ring. All I want to do is get some blue in there, just like that. I'll leave that one to dry. Walnut's lovely. The rings in the walnut come out really well. Okay, so that's the blue ones done. That's the base done for those. I'm going to do yellow. I did a yellow on the last ones and it came out great. So that's blue ones done there, first coat. Obviously that's the black. Got a yellow. I'm going to do green next. Right, what other colour should we do now? Let's go for an orange. I've done orange before and that's come out quite nice as well. done a light blue, so we'll do a dark blue. It's just the last two. Right, so what I'll do with these now is I need to leave them all to dry. That'll take quite a while, and then we'll come back and we'll start adding the second colours to them. Okay, slightly different angle, coming back in. So these are all dry now, so we need to decide on the second colours. Well, the yellow and the orange are not going to have a second colour with them. Two of the black are not going to have another colour with them. So we've just got these ones here. So the first thing I'm going to do is start adding some green into here. There'll be 3 colours in this one in all. No, you don't want to overshadow the other colours that's in there. So that's actually enough. It's just a tiny amount. A little bit more on the inside there. Almost like you were painting treetops. You see, it's just the tips of it I've done. Give us grey. Also going to add some into the black here. That's there. Just a tiny wee bit of grey in there. Going to add the yellow in. That's that there. We'll add red into one and another colour into the other. And we'll add yellow into this one. Right, that's them. So I shall actually just leave them now. It's getting towards the end of the day here, so I'm not going to do any more with them. And we'll come back tomorrow and we'll get them all taped up and the resin poured into them. Okay, the paint's dried on all the blanks now, and I've actually prepared those ones ready, but I wanted to go through one with you. So this is one here, and this is a bit fiddly, this process, and I'm sure there's probably other ways of doing it, but this is the way I just do it. First I use double-sided tape, I put it round the blank, not too far from the top, all the way round, and I cut it so that it's going to overlap. Right. Once I've done that bit, I just make sure that it meets all the corners and it's stuck down properly. I start peeling that back. I overlap the second one so that there's no join for any resin to get out of once it's done. Then I pull the double-sided bit off, and obviously that's very tacky there. Then I have large sellotape. Now I need this to be overlapping a good inch at the top here. So I stick that on, making sure it goes all the way around okay. And making sure it joins at the bottom end. It doesn't matter if it's rippled or even if there's a bit of twig on there, but that doesn't matter because it's not actually going to affect what's happening in there. I then put the double-sided tape back round to stop it being too tacky on my fingers. And I use a bit of masking tape on it just to hold that in place. And that's my mould ready. So it's just sellotape that I use. So the next part that we need to start doing now is to get some of the fluorescent resin in. I put this in as a powder and I just sprinkle it in. So I'm going to get the camera into a better position and get some bits and pieces ready, and then we'll come back ready to do that. And then we start the pouring of the resin. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do now, this is all the blanks and I've put them in the order of what colour resin I want. This bunch will be clear resin, one of those will be blue and one will be green. It doesn't really matter which way round that goes as long as there's half red, half green and half blue. This is the pigment I use. Now this is blue and this is the green. So I need to add in the pigments ready now. So I'm going to start with blue because mostly all of these will have pigment in, and some of these will as well. So the way I do the pigment in these is it's very random. I just basically go and knock it in. There's no real science to any of it. Right, so that's the blue in. Now I didn't put any of the blue into here because I'm only going to be putting some green into here. There is going to be some of these that are going to have like white resin just sitting in the bottom of them as well. So we'll come on to that when it comes to the resin making. So that's the fluorescent pigments. You have to be quite careful with the pigments. They're not good to breathe in. That's why these are double bagged. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is I need to get the clear and the white snowy look to the resins done. So I've actually got some resin here ready to mix. It's the amazing casting resin I use for this because it shines nice, and it's the white alumilite dye. So none of these ones will have any, none of these ones here will have any of the white in, but there will be about 3 there. So I'm going to mix this up and get this mixed ready. I'm not going to degas any of this today. Sometimes I do degas some, but I'm not going to today. Okay, that's that mixed. So I just put a tiny drop. Yeah, it's the green there. Do that other black there. Just pulled a little bit out so that there is a little bit more of the treetop type look. And those ones have come out okay there. So the ones that I've put the white in, I don't put any other resin in until that's cured. And then what I'll do is, because those are clear, I will just then pour clear resin on top of them. I won't show that because I'm showing all of this, and it's just the same. I'll wait for that for tomorrow to dry, and then I'll add the clear resin. We'll add the clear resin into the other ones. One I'm going to add the blue into it and get that done, because there's probably enough there to. Now with this bit you have to be quite careful. For this I'm going to use a toothpick. Just take a little bit on the end of the toothpick like that. Stir it in. That's all you need, is that amount. Just the tiniest amount in there. Gives you enough colour. Right, so we'll pour that in. The blue. So all I've got to do now is mix enough resin for green. And that's the green. Very, very light colour. Don't want them any stronger than that though. Well, you might. I don't like them any stronger than that. Right, let's hope we've got enough now for these 3 moulds. That's the pouring of them. Now, like I say, I will leave these actually overnight now. It's later in the afternoon here. Well, I shall leave them until tomorrow before I add the clear resin on the top of that, and then it'll be the next day before they're obviously hardened. I shall come back when they've all been done and we'll go and have a look at them again, and we'll see what the fluorescent and stuff looks like in there. I mean, those fluorescents will glow already, but we'll come back and we'll have a look at them, and I'm not going to go over the shaping of a ring, but I will post some pictures of them when they're actually have been done. Okay, that's all the blanks finished, and obviously I've not shaped any of these. They're not even sanded. All I basically did was just took the rough bits down so that we could see if we could see into any of them really a little bit. That's the one with the green in it. Don't know if you can see that well. It's not a great view. That's the orange. These white bits that's here, I think there could be some bubbles. That's the black one. Once they're polished and finished, they become clearer, so I wouldn't worry too much about that bit. This is the black. That's another one that I put like the white on first, and that's a yellow one. So I'm going to have to finish these really in order to show you them properly, and I shall get that done over the coming weeks, and then I might just do a quick update video showing them all complete, or maybe put it on my update. This is the fluorescent ones here. I'm just going to run the fluorescent torch over these just so that you can sort of see. Not the best light I've actually got going here. See if we can dull this down a little bit. As you can see, it picks up the colour of them. That's just with a couple of seconds of the UV light as well. So anyway, that was it. I just basically wanted to come back and show you them all done. So this is obviously just the next stage, and now it's about shaping them and getting them all ready. So like I say, we shall get some of these completely finished, and then we'll be able to show you them then. But until then, that's how I make them. Like I say, some of these do look, I'm unsure if they have got a lot of bubbles in it, or if it's just because I sprayed them, because I never noticed it until I sprayed them with varnish just to clean them up to show you them. But that's them done. That's how I complete the lovely rings that I showed you at the start anyway. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It is a little bit long. I'm sorry about that. Trying to cut it back as much as possible. And I just really wanted you to see how I actually make these rings. And these rings do come out incredibly beautiful. I'm just going to grab one so I can show it you. It goes from that to this. I'll switch this top light back on here. I mean, this started off like this, but it ends up like that. You just put some UV on it. Turn this light down. Oh, doing a good job of throwing them all around. That's the UV on it. So yeah, go away, have a go at it. I know some of you are interested in the jewellery, and I don't know if you are making any yourself, but yeah, give it a go. Anyway, if you like what you see, give me the thumbs up. If you don't, give me the thumbs down. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. It helps. And press that little bell button if you want to be updated every time I put a video on. Thanks very much for watching. See you all next week.